Hello, this is Daisy Mirach, psychic investigator, spiritual healer, and a whole lot more. And today I'm speaking to you about COVID stress and how to get rid of it by taking some very easy steps to success. Now, the first thing is to recognize that your stress will rise up just when you least expect it. So do be prepared for that. Now, one very easy way to begin is to be able to say to yourself, I will get rid of my stress. I am getting rid of my stress. I am beating my stress, and not to let it get on top of you anymore. Now, when you're getting rid of your stress, what you're actually striving for is to achieve inner peace. And so another affirmation you can say to yourself is, I am on the route to achieving inner peace. I am achieving inner peace. I am beating my stress. Now, the more that you recognize the signs and the catalyst of your stress, the more you will be able to get on top of it. Now, it might be if things have really spiraled out of control for you that you're finding this really hard, particularly if you're not able to sleep properly, or you're just finding yourself feeling really fatigued from the whole thing. But don't worry, we'll get there. Remember that you always have choices. You may not think that you do if the stress has got hold of you, but you actually do. I'm not saying it's your choice to be stressed, but it's your choice to want to de-stress and to be on the path to achieving it. One of the most important things I can tell you is to always be the real you, because often we just make excuses. We don't really want to talk about how stressed we are, or we put on a facade. So try not to do that and just be true to yourself. If you can go as far as admitting to people that you're suffering from stress under the current circumstances, many people will be very sympathetic and will do what they can to help you along. So now let's look at a few things that you can do every day to get on top of your stress levels, starting from now. Now, be aware that the stress hormone cortisol is particularly high in the mornings. And one of the things that you can actually do to retrain your brain, and so that your mind, body and spirit in totality will complete that cycle and help you de-stress, is to take at least 15 minutes when you wake up before you look at any screens or at anything else. I would also suggest consciousness. So from the minute you wake up, rather than just like, waking up, brush your teeth, put the coffee in the pot, do everything with consciousness. So when you're lying in bed, just open your eyes, really look around the room, listen, feel the texture of the sheets, the texture of your bed underneath you. Because what you're doing is you're actually using many more different parts of your brain than just in your usual normal routine. And that means that your brain is suddenly allowing more information to come in and just is less locked in its own little cycle. So when you get up, after having used your consciousness, really using your eyes, etc., and all your senses, then even when you're brushing your teeth, deliberately squeeze your toothpaste onto your brush. Okay, really experience what it feels like to be brushing your teeth and hear the sounds that makes and feel the sensation in your mouth. And carry on that routine, even if you've got to go downstairs or through your flat to make your coffee, hear the coffee pouring out. Just use consciousness and you will find it makes a difference. If you can do that at various moments throughout the day, just to take 5 minutes of having consciousness. Perhaps you're in an office and you can use your eyes more to look at the colours. Perhaps you have a few minutes where you walk every day and you can really breathe in the colours or smell the air or listen to the birds singing, or use touch, whether it's a piece of paper in your office or to go and touch the petals of a flower. All of these things will feed your mind much more and you will feel much more bodily rewarded than if you're just kind of carrying on. And we do just carry on when we're in stress because the stress takes us over. So that's a very good tip for just breaking a habit. It might sound so simple, you just think, well, that's not worthwhile, but trust me, it is. So this 15 minutes that you're going to take in the morning before you look at any screens is really going to help you wake up and be human and not be so locked into your stress later on in the day, because you're giving your brain this proper chance to wake up. Now, talking about screens, in some of my previous videos, I've already talked to you about the dangers of watching television for too long, or at looking at screens, or at looking at social media. So again, to combat your stress levels, try and take regular breaks throughout the day. Really, I would say every half an hour or so, try and take a couple of minutes break and do something as alternative as possible. I know people who work on a computer all day and then in their 2 minutes or 3 minutes or their coffee break, they will look at their mobile phone. Well, actually, that's the wrong thing to do. Can I just point out you also have choices? You can say to those you love, unless it's an emergency, please only contact me at lunchtime or at a certain time that suits you, which could help you to stop looking at your phone, perhaps just as obsessively as you do. The point here I'm trying to make is to do more and more natural kinds of things that are not screen orientated, so that you're using many more different parts of your brain throughout the day, which will help you to combat stress. Now, often when you're stressed, you'll find yourself going within yourself, which means you don't have such a consciousness of the outside world. And often what will happen is you'll want to ignore what's going on, and you'll find it harder to participate with what's going on your outside world because you're so locked in. So again, please be conscious of that. You need to be strong and combat this, and try as much as you can to forget going inwards and try to go more outwards, to contribute to what's going on, to participate with what's going on. If necessary, say how you feel. Oh, I was just really locked in my thoughts there, sorry. You can explain yourself in a clear way and people will understand, but you do need to try and explain. And guys, I know this is particularly difficult for you, but it will help you to combat stress. Another thing that we do when we're stressed is to try and play along with people so that they can't tell what's going on underneath. Often because we're actually quite frightened of the stress and we're frightened of how other people might react. But I just want you to say, just to beat your stress, you're going to have to do something a little bit different. So don't say yes to people because when you don't want to, because often what happens, that's just going to add to your stress. So when we're stressed, we often do the opposite thing of what we need. We just say, yes, fine to people. I'll do that. I'll be happy to do that. We become very giving and we load even more stress on top of us. And then we think, oh no, why did I say that? I hate doing this. But just be firm and say, no, I'm sorry. You know, I really have so much to do. I'd love to do that for you, but I just can't at the moment. And try and make an arrangement. But be very conscious of the stress that you're adding to yourself, because you do have the choices and the options to say no when you want to. Now, often when we're stressed, again, we forget to treat ourselves and we just go through the cycles. Often we feel really heavy and like we're just trudging through life, and that's really not the way to be. So from now on, if you're suffering from stress, I want you to consciously treat yourself. Now, that doesn't have to mean spending vast amounts of money or anything like that. It can just mean 5 minutes where you find yourself a moment of peace and to make yourself a cup of tea or have a little biscuit or something like that. If you have got a little bit of spare money, just to go out and buy one plant or one flower or a couple of really nice chocolates for yourself or a little cake, whatever it is that you feel you deserve. But again, do it with consciousness. I am beating my stress. I am working on myself. I deserve this treat. And the more you feed yourself with these kinds of phrases and that kind of information, the more you will find that you will heal. The other thing I can advise you to do is to get in touch with nature as much as you possibly can, because nature is healing. So you might think looking at a pretty flower, is kind of soothing on the mind, but actually everything has its own vibration. And the more you can resonate with natural things, the more you will find that certain areas of your body are healing, and they really do contribute to beating your stress. So sitting with your feet firmly on the ground, on the earth, is a good solution. You're taking in earth energy. It really is doing something. Just stroking a tree or putting your hand on its trunk, sitting and really looking at nature, at flowers, at the bees buzzing by. All of these things are great for healing. So I hope today I've given you some tips on how to get on top of your stress. Join me again soon, and I'll be giving you more information on how to be a better you.